If you are sick of hearing about Brendan Sorsby, buddy, I get it. He's been in the news a lot lately. And maybe you're not paying as close attention because he's not even in the NFL yet. But I promise you, this will be the end of it. I get it. I get it. This will be the last of it that any of us speak for a while. So if you're only half paying attention to what has been going on with him, he is not going to the NFL now. He declared, this quarterback from Texas Tech, who never really played for Texas Tech, declared for the supplemental NFL draft, and the NFL passed on him, and then passed on the entire supplemental draft. They're not having it. They didn't have it. They're not going to have it. And then the CFL also said pass, but not for us. So that left Brendan Sorsby with only a few options here. He could sue the NFL, which I thought for sure he was going to. Doesn't seem like he is now. Try the UFL, which probably is not a good option, and I'll explain that in a second. Excuse me, or go for a non-NCAA college team. Does the University of Phoenix have a team? Or my personal favorite, the University of Maryland University College. I think they changed the name, but I love the redundancy. So he's just going to have to wait. He has to wait until the 2027 NFL draft. As of today, and I think it'll stay that way, that seems to be his choice. I'm sure he wants to put more tape together before then, but if there's no NFL, if there's no CFL, you're not going to play for some non-NCAA college team. And honestly, the schedule with the UFL is not conducive to what he wants to do. Are they done for this season? I think they just finished. And by the time it comes springtime again, he's going to have to be preparing for the NFL draft. So that is not really an actual option for him. Plus, if he were to play, to be honest, he's just risking injury at this point for very little gain. So that's it, finally, for Brendan Sorsby. We should not speak his name again until the actual 2027 NFL draft. And that is the kind of stuff that gets talked about because it's July and there is no football. Welcome to Shut Up Football. I am Jeff Stoltzfus. That's Kevin. And, oh, buddy, we got a lot to talk about today. We're talking about Terrion Arnold. Easy for me to say. Oh my gosh. I know a lot of it has been said already. You've no doubt seen a lot, but we're going to talk about some of the options going on with the Lions. Talk about Diana Russini. Again, it seems like old news. It is not. There's just more keeps coming, and guess what? More is coming. I promise you. Talk about that. Also, Jake Paul made an outrageous claim about the NFL. I don't know if you saw it. It's not that you needed to because it's laughable, but we'll laugh at it. We love to laugh here. And we'll try to figure out the best wide receiver room in the league. Not just duo, but the room. And I honestly, I don't know how that's going to go. I have ideas, but I'm willing to be surprised. So first, it's barely news.
I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
So, as you may know, Terrion Arnold, former cornerback for the the Detroit Lions, not everything with an L is the same, was facing 8 felony charges, which is 8 too many, for kidnapping, armed robbery. You know what, dude? I feel like people make mistakes It's understandable. I've made mistakes in my life, but don't kidnap. Just don't do it. If you come to a fork in the road in your life and you have kidnap, don't kidnap. Just go for don't kidnap. It feels like it should be easy. It was not for Terrion. Originally, the judge ordered him to wear a GPS tracking device, and his lawyer was like, "You can't play football with that." I thought that was funny because clearly the lawyer is unaware of next-gen stats. He was already getting tracked on the field. Maybe if he was wearing one of those off of the field, he wouldn't have crimed. So, originally the Lions stood behind him, as the teams often do, at least when there's not video evidence. They'll let the legal process play out, and that is fair. People get accused of things, especially when they're surrounded by lots of people and they have money that maybe they're not always actually true committing crimes. But looks pretty bad for Terrion. So they could have put him on the commissioner's exempt list, and that doesn't count against the 53-man roster, but it seems as though the Lions weren't even convinced that was a good idea. So why now? Why now is kind of the question. Why did they go from like a week ago of we'll stand behind our dude and let this play out to we won't? So we can only guess. I can only throw my two brain cells at this and figure it out, but my guess is money and optics. I think probably they are getting the sense this is really bad. It looks bad on them, and let's just get out early and try to recover some money from the Terrion Arnold contract, which they will do. They apparently have a history of going after money with, I think, Barry Sanders and Megatron. I think they went after him too for some money. Hey, welcome, brother. I see you made it live finally. What was funny to me? Oh wait, actually, I should say on top of that, they have $8.5 million in dead cap money because of this, because they cut him, which is not a ton actually in the grand scheme of things. I mean, that's not like even in the ballpark of like a Russell Wilson cut or something like that, but it's money, and I think last time I checked, they need the money, so they could apply a contract detrimental to the team type of label on him, and he could forfeit some money. They're not going to get much back. I think his signing bonus is guaranteed. So at best, they're going to get a couple mil if they do go after it, but maybe they need it. What was funny to me was Nick Saban wrote a character reference letter to the judge. It was basically, "Hi, in case you don't know me, I'm Nick Saban. I coached professional or college football. I guess pro too for a little while. So my opinion matters." I don't know. It seemed pretty useless because he goes through saying, well, when I knew him, he was a fine, upstanding citizen. Yeah, 5 years ago when he wasn't kidnapping. What he wrote at the end cracked me up. "I'm not overly familiar or educated on the charges he is facing." Well, then what the heck are you doing writing a letter about him, dude? Do you think he wrote that letter and then looked at it afterwards and saw the charges and was like, "Oh, my bad." Come on, man. Maybe don't chime in on that one, Nick. You got it. You can pass on that one. So the Lions depth chart now is sans Mr. Arnold, DJ Reed, Rock Ya-Sin, who I think they are supposing will take over for Arnold, which shouldn't really make Lions fans feel great. Obviously, Arnold was drafted to solve a problem, and he never quite achieved the status or the consistency in which I think they were expecting, and now he never will. Behind those two guys, it's Ennis Rakestraw, who I believe is still fairly young and showed a lot of promise, although I thought he was supposed to be a nickel corner, but maybe not. So he's a possibility too. And Roger McCreary, and then just a handful of depth players. So they could make a trade. I don't know that they're going to, but there are some people out there they could target. Paulson Adebo, Mike Hughes, Renardo Green, and there's still some free agents out there. Dudes maybe a little past their prime that are on the pile. Rasul Douglas, Kenny Moore, Trevon Diggs. These are guys who I don't know if they're going to start for them, but if they're looking for more depth, those are the options they have. Let's move on. Diana Russini. In case you didn't hear, Diana Russini had, let's say, joked about. Let's be nice. Joked about getting out of a traffic ticket with a cop by FaceTiming the coach. Didn't say which one. And that apparently worked. She said it on a podcast. There's evidence. She did, in fact, get pulled over for texting while driving, and she did get out of the ticket. And that is confirmed by the actual police department and the body cam footage. And this all could just be a funny story. Or it could be bragging about abusing access. Or it could be both. When do you draw the line between it's a funny story or this is a bad thing? Probably we're not there, but she was breaking the law. She was doing something dangerous. She was texting while driving. People, they put out ads against that because people get into car accidents all the time. She wasn't drunk driving. It's not that bad, but it's a thing. So, but the reason this came back to light, because this is old news, is that she didn't FaceTime anybody. Great. Now she's a liar too. Can't trust Dianna Russini. So she showed texts. That's all she did. She never FaceTimed anybody, is the truth. She showed texts that she had with Kevin O'Connell to the police officer to try and impress him. And he did seem impressed. And then she did get out of the ticket. This kind of sucks for Kevin O'Connell, if you ask me. He's got to be like hearing this come out and be like, whoa! Don't bring me into this. It's got to be just a whole can of shit opened up at the O'Connell house. Mrs. O'Connell's got to be like, let me see all your texts. Give me the phone. It's mine now. So, and she also was kind of just, I don't like the way that she was, I'm an NFL reporter and I just broke that Sean McDermott got fired from the Bills. Her excuse was, I know I was doing something illegal and dangerous, but I was tweeting, and I'm important. Rubs me a little bit the wrong way. You can pull over. There's a whole knot road that you can take advantage of. So, New York Times, which is the owner of The Athletic, has a full reporting coming out in just a few weeks. Look forward to that. And some things already have been falling out of that. I think this is one of them. Her salary is one of those things. $800,000 a year job. My goodness. That is a well-paid reporter or insider. I don't even know if I'd say reporter. Her job is to get inside. Boy, you know what? She did. Maybe she is worth it. Golf clap Diana. She did her job, at least with one coach. She's also a voter for Coach of the Year. I mean, that's one person, but still, I wonder who she's voting for. And she apparently was caught for prematurely linking offensive tackle Morgan Moses to the Patriots one day before legal tampering. So between that and the A.J. Brown and a little bit, I think, a Julio Jones thing, she may actually have been involved in some tampering with the Patriots or for the Patriots. But that is something that the NFL is still apparently not looking into. I know a lot of Eagles fans were pounding the table for that. I don't care. It's fine. Like, I don't want corruption or undue influence in the game itself, but I don't really care about A.J. Brown going to the Patriots. So, but the point is here that more is coming. There will be a report from the New York Times, and they're not pulling punches from what I've seen. I don't know that she was particularly loved within her own house. Well, and I mean I mean the Athletic or New York Times even, but maybe not even in her own house. I don't know, dude. She got married just a couple years ago, and I'm starting to wonder about how many years she was already outside that marriage. So, which is not for me to get into. We're moving on. Jake Paul wants to play in the NFL. Yay! Bring Jake Paul on. No, I'm kidding. I have no idea. I honestly didn't even realize for years. I mean, I don't watch the Paul brothers. I don't watch that type of content, but I honestly thought it was one guy for years. Years. Jake Paul's doing this. Jake Paul's doing that. What's that? Logan? Oh, I got his name wrong. It's Logan Paul. No, it's two dudes. It's two individual people, like they're brothers. I had no idea. It was news to me for the longest time. And even now, I don't really know which one is which. But it doesn't affect my life. I can still, like, you know, get through a day, flush toilets, all fine without actually knowing anything about them. But Jake Paul, he said he wants to go play in the NFL. He said, I was originally thinking I'd just go straight to the Cleveland Browns or Dallas Cowboys. Good pick. But they're probably going to want to see me play first. Smart, this guy. So, yeah, that is probably true. I don't know that they hire a lot of people without seeing them play football first. But he pivoted. He said now that he's going to try and walk on at Stanford. That's the plan. And he doubled down on it. He wants to play wide receiver, in case you're wondering. Slot receiver specifically. He's got okay size. He's like 6'1", 220-ish. Last time I think he was fighting somebody. So he could slim down a little bit. I don't know how fast he is. He is also 29 years old. Way to get in right before that cliff. Although I do wonder, does he know that he has to enroll at Stanford to play? Like, I know they call it a walk-on, but not literally anybody can just walk on. There's not just like a turnstile for just geeks off the street. Come on in. You actually have to go to the school. And does he have the grades to get accepted to go there? Apparently, he is a high school dropout, though he did later get his degree online. I don't know what his grades are. I could guess. So Taylor Lewan, because former NFL players saw this and had some thoughts. Taylor Lewan said Jake Paul is an A+ promoter, rage baiter, and a solid athlete, but there is a 0.0000001% chance he could make it to the NFL. I like that it was even make it to the NFL, not make it in the NFL. And then Antonio Brown was just more blunt because he's Antonio Brown and that's how his brain is. He just said dude would get fucking rocked. And this is just really going to be content for whichever Paul this was. But it was funny to me. Sorry I'm a little dopey this morning. Thanks for joining me. Man, I had a rough start today. I still haven't had my coffee yet. My hair was still wet. Get out of the shower before I got onto the live stream. I started using my wife's hair dryer to mess it down, and I gotta be honest. I used the wrong side or end. You know, air comes out of one side. I was using the other side. Not for that long, but for too long. Yeah, it's been that kind of morning. That, and I also didn't realize that I even had I didn't have my microphone until right before I came on. It does seem to be recording, though, so that's a plus. Anyway, that's it for the news. We are going to move on to the best wide receiver room in the league. So what I'm looking for here, help me out. We're trying to qualify who is best, and then we'll look back at this at the end for cost. to see if the money is going where it should be going. When I started this, I started looking at the best duo. And then I just decided to do the whole room. And what I mean by room is really just more so top 3, but sometimes 4. We're just going to try and take a stab around the league and see. And a lot of people have shifted in this offseason, so I kind of forget where some of these people even went. But we're going to learn together. Also, I'm going to pre-qualify this that rookies are not going to score that high for me. It's in a starting role. I should qualify that because I think some people, they're going to project a first-round talent is going to be, 1,000-plus yard receiver in their rookie season. And that's true for some, but not all. Probably true for less. So let me start with the obvious. Let's go to the videotape. I have a nice little tiered system here. As anyone who's watching the live stream or watching on Spotify, I have a tier system here set up on your typical tier website. Top shelf, nice, mid, pat on the head, and dumpster. And I think it's safe to say already, come on, computer, work with me. Give it to me. Yeah, that would be funny. No, I'm going to put the Bengals right out the gate at top shelf. And that's because they're the first team I actually thought of. Like, not just it popped into my mind, but I think anyone else could agree as well. We're looking at ESPN's depth chart here, which is not my preferred depth chart. I actually prefer Ourlads, but if you go to their website, I've learned for a live stream like this, it keeps shifting and jumping with all the ads, and I can't handle it anymore. So anyway, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, 2 of the best 1,000-yard receivers. They could score multiple touchdowns in a game. In fantasy, they could win you your week. These guys are amazing, and they're well compensated, and they've got, I think, top 3 quarterback in the league. Throwing to them, they have to be at the top. And if you look beyond that at wide receiver 3, that's only where it gets interesting, because it's currently Andre Yoshivash, who is not a scrub, but he does seem to be under fire. And what I mean by that is he came in to fill a void when Tyler Boyd left. And I don't know that he was even the plan. I think they drafted him in the same draft cycle as Charlie Jones, which just at this point seems to be a return man. And Yoshivash took over the third wide receiver spot, and he's fine. He's fine. I think he's decent. So as good as the 1 and 2 are here in this wide receiver room, Yoshivash fits in fine. However, they've also tried to replace him like every year since. Jermaine Burton, who is he still on the team? I don't see him here. I haven't been updated on what happened to him other than the fact that he didn't work out. That much is known. And that's then also why this year they drafted Colby Young, who I already heard out the jump after the draft that he had a good chance of surpassing Yoshivash as the number 3 here. And I was like, haha, we'll see about that. And then I dove deeper into his game film, and holy crap, this dude is really good. The only reason he dropped into the 4th was character issues. There's some off-the-field stuff that, I would hate to think he becomes the same situation as Jermaine Burton, but assuming he does not, yeah, he can take the number 3 spot here easily. I think he's awesome. I'm not even really sure exactly what his ceiling is, other than the fact that he's not going to pass T. Higgins and Chase here. But if one of them were to get injured or eventually move on, I'm not really sure what his ceiling is yet. But he's definitely somebody that I found late after the draft, and then found late in Dynasty, my first Dynasty draft of the season, which was fantastic. And there's been nothing but glowing praise for him coming out of camp so far. So, yeah, I would say Chase, Higgins, Yoshivash, Young, even Tinsley filled in okay. So this is an easy pick for top tier, top shelf for the Bengals. Things get pretty rough after that because I'm just going to go down from what I see here. We're gonna throw some of these in quickly, but I had to talk about the Bengals themselves because I feel like that's probably the best, and we're looking to beat that, or at least find somebody to sit up there on that top shelf with them. I want nice things. So let's see. Cardinals. Oop. Easy ESPN. Let's take a look at the Cardinals. We have, Marvin. It apparently is not happening for Marvin. He still has time, but he's not a top shelf asset like his dada. Michael Wilson had a pretty awesome breakout. Unexpected one, to be honest, too. I'm curious to see if he can continue that this year. Kendrick Bourne is decent. He's a decent side piece there. They don't really have anybody else behind that. They're just guys. Xavier Weaver, Devin Duvernay, at this point, is just kind of more a return guy. I'm not terribly inspired by this room. I don't even think they're mid. I'm going to give them, I think, a pat on the head. They're not trash. There are good assets there, but I still think compared to the rest of the league, they're not good, and their best person to throw to is probably their tight end. So, pat on the head for the Cardinals. Move on to the Falcons, who we already know Drake. Oh, actually, why are we doing that? Let's just go alphabetical. Let's go to the Ravens. This is how prepared I am. I mean, I did prepare, so pound sand. The Ravens wide receiver core has changed quite a bit over the last 2 years, but it still feels extremely strong. Zay Flowers, I've always been a fan of. He's a 1,000-yard receiver. Rashad Bateman, depending on when he's healthy, can be very good. And Devontae Walker is unproven. This is, I think, his third year. I think last year he caught like 3 passes and they were all touchdowns. So that's a fair, a goodish, maybe mid to slightly more than mid core right there. What I'm really excited about, hey, right back at you, Alex Lucas from the UK. Love it. What I'm most excited about with the Ravens, and I can't boost them when they're all basically rookies, but Jacoby Lane and Elijah Surratt were high on my list in the draft. So especially Elijah Surratt, who was a favorite going into the draft, went in, I think, the 4th, and has just lingering in dynasty drafts to this point like he's nothing, and could really be something, I think. I can't rank them too high for potential because it's basically 2 rookies and Devontae Walker are all pretty unproven in the NFL. And Bateman, the injuries bother me. Zay Flowers, he's your one, and I love him, but he's not particularly massive. I would think I'm going to put him at Noise for now. Or no, mid. I'm going to put the Baltimore Ravens at mid, and I feel like they'll be better by the end of the year. We're going to have to see how some things shake out. Certainly, I think their quarterback is good enough to make plenty of these guys relevant, and they all have, the good thing about them is they all have different, I don't want to say abilities, but strengths. Let's go with strengths. Because what Zay Flowers does, most other wide receivers don't. Especially for his size, but he's not a big body who's going to win on the outside a whole lot. He's speed, he's moves. You know, I always thought he was kind of shifty and jukey, kind of like a LaShawn McCoy in a wide receiver body. So I do really like the Ravens core. I just think that we need to see more before we can boost them up. They don't favorably compare against the rest of the league yet. Moving on. Who's next in the alphabet? Now the Falcons? How did these images import into my tier system? Probably my fault. I don't know why I'm blaming others. I'm a real jerk sometimes. Atlanta Falcons. So, yes, Drake London got paid. He's a top-tier receiver. It happened. It took longer, I think, than a lot of people were expecting, but he's that dude. Jahan Dotson. See, the problem with Dotson is he's never been what his first-round pedigree indicated. However, he was only in Washington for, a year? And we saw some, but we didn't see enough. And then he went to the Eagles, and he was their number 3 receiver, which they historically, at least during the Jalen Hurts era, they don't use much. They just don't. He's not, because their number 3 wide receiver is not even their number 3 target. He's more like their 5th. So it's hard to judge Jahan Dotson, but currently, as it stands, it's not favorable. It's not great. I do like Olamide Zaccheaus. He is a quality number 3. But I think Dotson's probably closer to Zaccheaus than he is to Drake London, so it drags the room down a bit. And looking around the room, is there anyone behind them coming up? Well, I'll be honest. I don't even know who Dylan Drummond or Vinny Anthony II are. What is this depth chart? Are these real people? Or are these just like non-playing characters stuck in here? But Zachariah Branch could absolutely be something, I think. He's kind of got the small body twitchiness of a Zay Flowers, but he's got that extra gear, and I don't think he's too small. I think he's got a little bit of bulk to him, so he reminded me at times more of like a Tyreek Hill. He's absolutely somebody who could completely jump everybody in this depth chart and bring the whole thing up. Could. You also wonder, based on who the quarterback is, Penix or Tua, as to what the capability is to reach that. But he's the kind of guy that I loved him from the jump. I loved his tape. I'm amazed. I'm excited to see what he does in the NFL. Put it that way. I wanted him in Dynasty. I didn't get him so far, but I'm going to keep trying. The quarterback is my main concern with him as a Dynasty asset, but as a wide receiver room goes, I think he can by the end of the year greatly improve the quality here. I'm guessing in this particular depth chart, they have him behind Drake London. That means nothing to me. That doesn't even make sense. I would more likely, if Jahan Dotson doesn't fire on all cylinders out the gate and Branch starts flashing in camp, he's taking his job without not even looking back. It made more sense that he would be the slot guy, and I assume that was Olamide Zaccheaus, but pardon me, I'm dying from the inside out here. I think we're going to have to rank these guys lower than I want. Pardon me while I take a drink. Ooh. What do you think, guys? Pat on the head? No, they have Drake London. Let's give him mid. It's probably a generous mid, but I'm looking at the room, and individuals can stand tall and bring them up a little. I'll allow it. All right. Are we going on to the devil? Is it time for the devil? Nope. I don't know why they did that. Oh, maybe they're going alphabetically by city. D, Dallas, C, Chicago. Nope, none of it makes sense. Don't know what you did. All right, we're off to the Buffalo Bills, which is a tough one to chart. Ooh, I got to pick it up here if I'm going to get through all these teams. Can't wait to see what your team does. I already know what my team's going to do. It's not going to be pretty. Sorry, guys. Let's be honest with ourselves. All right, let's get through the Buffalo Bills. Have always loved DJ Moore. Saw a report the other day. He was walking through the mall in Buffalo, and they've got DJ Moore T-shirt, jersey things, and he just went in, laid down the cash, $1,200, bought him out, all DJ Moore stuff, and then said, "All right, anybody comes in and they're a Bills fan, they want one, just give it to them." I think that's pretty awesome. It's not exactly charity, but it is a nice way to endear yourself to the fan base. So anyway, DJ Moore, that doesn't get you any extra points in this particular process here. DJ Moore, good, past his prime, but good. I would love to see if he actually becomes a favorite target this year of Josh Allen. top 3 quarterback in the league. I'm going to say that for like 5 guys. It won't make any sense. So I'd like to see what he can actually do still in his career. Khalil Shakir, I have loved from the jump. Guy has more yards after catch, I think, than anybody in the league at this point, or at least last year. He's just awesome. And then Josh Palmer's just kind of a, I don't want to say a jag, but doesn't inspire a lot of thrills. So I think I can't be. And then there's, Skylar Bell is a rookie with a lot of potential as well, too. There's already camp noise on him. We've seen Tyrell Shavers make a few catches here and there at good points. Keon Coleman is a tough one. I feel like at this point there's not much difference between him and a corpse floating face down in the river, so he doesn't do anything for me. I'm going to have to go ahead and move these guys into... Where are they? Why can't I find the Bills? Oh, there they are. I'm going to go mid. Comparatively, I'm starting to wonder what I'm doing here, too. Because I do like them probably better than the Falcons, but wide receiver room-wise, but that's okay. This is all subjective. We're just having fun here. It's July. There's nothing real to talk about. The stuff that I talked about in the news, that's the top news. So let's keep trying to find this. You know, I wanted to do another movie. Anyone who's joining for the first time or first time in a while maybe missed, we cast the movie Star Wars not so long ago with NFL people. And I want to do that again because I want to do more fun stuff here in the live stream and just get everyone's opinion. I couldn't think of a movie to do this time around, though. My next pick was Star Trek. You can't go from Star Wars to Star Trek. It's too much. It's too many stars. We got to find something else. I want to do something that is, I don't want to say timeless, but beloved, something everybody knows. The Princess Bride is not a bad one. Is that still popular with the kids? Because I freaking love that movie. That movie will last forever. My next thought was actually Goonies. But the thing that prohibited me from doing that was, one, I don't like it. Yeah, I feel like I could come out and say that. It's time for me to come out of the shadows. I don't like Goonies. That's probably 2 and 3. I don't like it. I know that's slanderous to a lot of people. I think the problem with me is I saw Goonies when I was like 29. For a lot of people who love that movie, they saw it when they were a kid. And it's like, I'm the kid in that movie. And they feel like, what a journey we're all going on together with Chunk and Dirt and whatever names they have. And there's a ship. And wow. It didn't mean anything to me at nearly 30. It meant zippity. I think sometimes some of those movies everyone seems to love from their youth, if you weren't there kind of when it was happening or when you were young, you just miss out on the glory. I can't commiserate with people about Goonies. So I'm not doing Goonies. But I would like to do another movie casting at some point. So if you guys have suggestions, please let me know down in the place comments where people type crap. Let's go to the Panthers. This is gonna be a turnaround. Carolina Panthers depth chart. Let's take a look. Well, Tetaroa, even after only 1 year, is legit. I think we can all comfortably say that. I was semi-concerned about how his rookie year would be, just because there was a lot of heat on him. Sometimes when I go into looking at the tape on a guy coming out of college, I get so into him, too into him, that like a couple of months later when everybody else is into him, I go, oh, no. I was probably just being influenced by everybody else's opinion. But Tetaroa McMillan is fantastic. He is exactly what they needed. And boy howdy, good job on the Panthers. I will give the golf clap for the Panthers on that because they drafted a first-round wide receiver the year after drafting another first-round wide receiver. And that could have been questionable, but it was absolutely the right move. And if we look at this room, Xavier Legette is still just there. apparently there were red flags on Xavier Legette that I missed because I loved him coming out of college. And I'm refining my process as we go, as everyone probably is, to try and figure out some of the things that I missed. Could I maybe next time round on another player catch those things? Because Xavier Legette, for myself in my Dynasty drafts and for the Panthers, was a huge swing and a miss. If anything, he's dragging this room down. Because Tetero McMillan is the hotness, and Jalen Coker, was he undrafted? Is legit as well in his own right, and they paid him. And then I do like Jimmy Horn, but he's not going to be much for this team. He'll contribute, I'll put it that way. And Chris Brazzell was another guy I was super into early, and I don't know how his career is going to go. Steve Smith got me super concerned about stuff with Tennessee and all that and how they don't prepare their wide receivers. But outside of that, I actually was very high on Chris Brazzell. So if you have Xavier Legette in your dynasty, boy, you should have sold him already. I hope you did. I hope you can still. I did. I packaged him with somebody and got him the crap out of my way. I don't think he's ever going to pay off. So I'm going to look at this room as Teteroa, Coker, Brazzell, and I think it's going to happen sooner than later, and then Legette, Horn, Mechie. And if that's the case, and I know I'm not trying to pump up rookies too much, but he's got Coker, he's got McMillan, he's got some depth guys to fill around. It's not as bad as it once was, and it's probably better than I think. I'll give it that. I'm going to put them... I know they're young. I know Bryce Young is small. Yeah, we're getting a lot put in the mid category now. But I feel like that's going to break soon. You could argue some of these are nice. I don't know what accent that is. Let's move on. Bears. There you go. There's one for you right there. Adunze. I know there's a little doubt on him. Give him another year. He has shown a little. Burden. Oh, buddy. That's my boy. Khalif Raymond, though. At this point, he's really more of a return guy to me than a actual number 3 on the field. Who else they got here? Xavier Thomas, Jade Walker. This is not inspiring. You know what? This is more hope and a prayer that these young dudes are going to be everything they need to be when Colston Loveland is probably the number 1 option here anyway. If there's going to be a big breakout this year, it's probably Colston Loveland and probably Luther Burden. I can't do much with this wide receiver room yet. Where are you, Bears? Oh, there you are. Your big bear face. I love that they went to this instead of the C. That's controversial, man. I'm going to give them a pat on the head, which I know is low. They could go mid. They could even be nice by the end of the year. But right now, convince me. I think they have potential. I'll put it that way. I'm high on their rookies, or not even rookies anymore. I'm high on their second-year guys. It's a lot of second-year guys. And no one true proven alpha. At least the Falcons have Drake London. And you can point to him and go, there's your North Star. Let's move on past the Bears. That one, some of these are easier than you think. Browns, this one will be easy. Because right off the bat, if you followed me at all, if you watch this channel, I don't even know what video you have to watch or live stream to hear me badmouth Jerry Jeudy. Not a fan. Not my tempo. I think he had a lot of potential. They're like, wow, he runs routes like Jerry Rice. He drops a lot of balls. He's inconsistent. I know he doesn't have great quarterback play. But he's also on his, second team, and he's just never really done it for me. I would have more hope for KC Concepcion, who gets extra credit just for his pronunciation of his last name, and Denzel Boston. Those guys, I feel like those two guys are going to be transformative to whoever is throwing the ball to him this year. Behind that, we've got Tylan Wallace is a decent player in the background. Isaiah Bond still has some potential. And Cedric Tillman, he got jumped on the depth chart, but he's not crap. This, you know what? This is better than I thought. If I just, where are the Browns? Aim for the orange helmet. You know how that makes sense. If I just close my eyes, plug my nose, I kind of think that they're mid. And I know that's a lot on their rookie dudes and an unstable quarterback position. But, yeah. Now that I look at that, it's almost hearsay against the Bears with more proven assets. But I'm going to stand on that. Come at me, bro. I speak all the hip lingo the kids do. And it sounds horrible. Dallas Cowboys. Now we're at the devil. All right. What do you got for me? I already know what you have because I hate you. But I will give credit where credit is due. CeeDee Lamb is awesome. He's a top 10 guy. George Pickens. My favorite kind of also awesome 1,000-yard type receiver for a team I hate because he could easily go for 1,000 yards. He could easily throw his helmet at a fan and get, thrown off the field. I love that for them. Flanoy, pardon me, is coming out. Apparently, he's doing better than his draft stock indicated initially. It's kind of impressive. He's a good number 3. I think Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Kevontae Turpin. Turpin, oh my gosh, it's Turpin time. I love that dude. And then Jonathan Mingo is absolute, just not good. Panthers swung on that one and missed too. There's the big stupid star. You know what? I hate you, Dallas. Actually, I don't hate Dallas. I've never been to Dallas. I hate the Cowboys. But I'm going to give you top shelf. You're the only other top shelf right now besides the Bengals. May you win just as many Super Bowls in the next 30 years as them. All right, let's get past the devil. Where are we at? Denver Broncos. You know what? I'm looking at the clock now and realizing I'm not going to live. I can't spend all day on this, nor do you want that. Some of these we're going to have to speed up. Waddle, Franklin, Sutton. Pat Bryant still. Oh, Marvin Mims I still like. You know what? I'm going to give the Broncos a noise. I think the addition of Waddle is huge for that team. I know Sutton's a little on the downside in his career, but Waddle's going to make up for it. Bryant's still got plenty of potential. There's a lot of good stuff there. I believe in this wide receiver room. Even they got a lot of depth. That's really what it is. I would say Marvin Mims as like your 4 or whatever is pretty amazing. Even little Jordan Humphrey is like a 5 or 6. Detroit Lions. Is it Detroit or Detroit? Maybe it matters where you're from in the country. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Isaac Tesla. Well, I don't know what the heck to do with Tesla yet. He only catches touchdowns too, but I need to see more than that. And we will this year, as he's elevated. St. Brown is another top-tier dude. And Jameson Williams has been at times. Who's behind them? Kennedy. Love it. Yeesh. Dortch. They're at least noise, I would say. They might be more than noise. If we're going to pick a top 10 here in the league, it's probably going to have to be a bunch of nice wide receiver rooms. I don't know how many top shelf ones we're going to get. It's going to have to be. So, the Pack. The Pack is a very interesting one as well. Christian Watson, everybody is huge on him this year, breaking out. And you know what? I'm in. I am, because when he's on the field, he does actually perform. He just gets injured a lot, but he's very seasoned. I think he's still mid-20s. He's still got plenty of time to just keep, if he can stay healthy, putting up huge numbers. Jaden Reed is just an everywhere guy. He's almost utility at this point. I know he was injured last year, but I still expect maybe not 1,000-yard season from him, but good things. Matthew Golden had absolute potential. Not a good rookie season. Not exactly sure what that was about, but yeah, this is a good group. This is a good crop here with lots of potential. A lot of stuff that has been proven as well. I do like Bo Melton as a late deep guy. Sky Moore does not help this room. And Savion Williams, I don't know what to do with that dude. Is he special teams? I want to see if they use him more this year. It's a good group. And Jordan Love is a guy who can make use of all of them. I'm going to say, what do you think, guys? Yeah. I'm going to say Noise. They're pretty close. I definitely think they're below the Lions, but they're not mid, I don't think. They can score a lot of points with that group. Let's move on to Texans. Oh, I have actually really liked what the Texans have been doing in their wide receiver room over the last few years. Nico Collins is not open for debate. He's awesome. Jaden Higgins, what is he? Is he a Nico Collins clone at this point? Like he's supposed to break out this year, and I absolutely believe that he can get not Nico Collins numbers this year, but he's coming for you. He could be an 800-yard receiver easy. Tank Dell, I don't know that he's actually slotted in at that position there. As the third wide receiver, that seems a bit rich to me. But we've seen good things from Xavier Hutchinson. We've seen potential in Jalen Knoll. Justin Watson is just kind of a utility player. This is, I would say, yeah, pretty nice. They're up there. I think they're better than people realize. And a part of that, it's a better room, I think, than what is being made use of. CJ Stroud needs to have a bounce back year in a big way, but he's got huge bodied, fast, good-handed receivers just everywhere all around him. And I know Tank Dell was awesome at a time. It's just such a serious injury. People aren't even sure if he can really come back and play the level he was once at. So I don't know that I'm counting on him, but I'm not counting on him. I think there's plenty around him for that room to do a lot of good things, and they don't need him. It was a nice idea at the time, especially when your new quarterback was pounding the table to draft him. But now who cares? He doesn't get to tell us anything. Did we skip somebody? Colts. I loved Alec Pierce, but if he's the number one here, I think they got problems. We got Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, and Ashton Doolin. Ooh, buddy, with an injured Daniel Jones throwing to him. Is there potential on the horizon? Well, I'm not a huge fan of Nick Westbrook-Akina at this point, or Anthony Gould. I think their only hope there is Dion Burks. And I don't know that he jumps anybody on this team this year. So he's probably really their 4. That's not a good list, dude. I am sorry to say that's not dumpster. We haven't met any dumpsters yet. I feel like we should. I want to throw the Cowboys in there just cuz, but Jerry Jones has been making some moves. All right. Let's get dangerous. Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, I love Brian Thomas Jr., and I do think he will have a bounce-back year. This is another interesting and kind of sneaky wide receiver room here because Brian Thomas, I don't know that he's ever going to be a 1 for them. He might not be. someone who could sustain being a 1 on this team. However, he is very good. I do think he'll have a bounce back year. I think Trevor is coming into his own. Him and Liam Cohen are a very good pairing. Parker Washington is coming out in a big way. And I was a big fan of his too coming out of college. And I know he was drafted in like the 5th or 6th, but can he be what he was last year again this year? I don't know, but I'll if I had to bet, yeah, I will bet on Parker Washington moving up. Jacoby Myers has shown his worth. I think this unit as a whole, and then we've also got Travis Hunter. I don't know how much he's playing both ways, but I thought he was an extremely good wide receiver. I would have preferred he played just wide receiver, to be honest. I don't think he's a 1, but he has shown flashes both as a pro, and I saw him in college as well, that he can be a really good wide receiver and contribute to the team. Then they're banking on low draft, high athletic potential with Josh Cameron. I don't know who CJ Williams is. That one is beyond me, but I think they are better than people realize in that wide receiver room. Where's a Jag? Oh, there it is. Are they more than mid? Controversial. As if someone's going to come for me in the night. Wake up and get out of that bed. Did you say that the Jaguars wide receiver room is nice? Yeah, I can't do it. I can't do it when there's other people in this tier that I feel like are probably their wide receiver room as a whole is adjacent to. So I'm going to leave them at mid. That seems fair. Let's see what we got here. This is good quality live streaming and podcasting when you hear you can use me for white noise to fall asleep. The Chiefs room. Yeah, let's throw them in the dumpster. And I might not be kidding. This feels like old school Andy Reid to me. I know everyone thinks Patrick Mahomes is so good he can do everything on his own. That's a little bit true. Just a little bit. But this reminds me of when Andy Reid was with the Eagles early on, and we had like James Thrash and Todd Pinkston, and it was like, what? Why don't we have wide receivers with like real names? Like that people have heard of and seen play football. Like, so Rashee Rice, we know he's fast. I guess you could say he's good at this point when he's not in jail. Xavier Worthy needs a huge bounce back. Is it a bounce back or a breakout? I'm not even sure anymore. We just need everybody who believed in Xavier Worthy, and I don't know that I was one, needs to see more from him this year. I don't think I'm banking on that. I actually like Tyquan Thornton more coming out the gate. No, I wouldn't say more than Xavier Worthy, but more per his draft. Well, he was drafted kind of high. More what the expectation was as a whole. Let's put it that way. I had higher expectations versus the community on Tyquan Thornton than other people did on Xavier Worthy. But he's not a 1. Xavier Worthy is kind of gadgety and role play. Rashee's kind of their best wide receiver, and he's got legal issues. I don't think much of Nico Remigio other than a return guy. Cyrus Allen, I've heard a little chitter-chatter about having potential, but I haven't seen it myself. Jalen Royals, I was extremely high on last year. He did jackety shit for the team. I don't know that he's going to do anything more this year. Maybe I was just wrong about Jalen Royals. I guess it's possible that I was wrong about something in my life. Nah. So I don't think much of their wide receiver room as a whole, and it's not just Chiefs hate. I'm going to give them a pat on the head. That's probably too low, but I just don't believe in their wide receivers. I really don't. I mean, as a room, I would not stack Rashee Rice up against anybody else's number 1 and try and say he's just as good. I mean, we're banking on hope again that any of these guys can do anything based on Patrick Mahomes. I'm not going to give this just to Patrick Mahomes because he's good. Lots of people are good. Joe Burrow's good. Matthew Stafford's good. Where are we now? Oh, the Vegas Raiders. They should call them the Vegas Raiders. I don't know why they don't. Just because it sounds stupid? That's not fair. Give it a chance. All right, the Vegas Raiders. You know what? Did we just find a dumpster fire? we found one. We found a dumpster, finally. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I'm happy about that. I actually think the Raiders will be better this year. I do. I actually do think they'll be better this year. Better than they were. Not better than other teams. Don't lose your head. Trey Tucker, Jalen Naylor, and Jack Besh are the listed starters here, if that is to be believed. And it probably is, unless they pick up somebody. This room, I still contend, could greatly benefit from picking up somebody in free agency like a Stephon Diggs. That would just absolutely change everything. I know Trey Tucker has shown usability. He's not trash. Jalen Naylor too, but these are not ones and twos for your team. And Jack Besh has not shown us anything yet. He's shown us maybe even less than Dante Thornton Jr., and I'm not banking on any of those dudes to break out this year, or Malik Benson, who they drafted, or Derek Young. I'm sorry. I'm going straight to the dumpster with you on this, Raiders, and that's your own doing. This is just a wide receiver room critique from idiot number one. Not a critique of your entire team. I get it. You're building differently. You're building around. Everything could change next offseason. But right now, you're a used hanky. Or Mr. Hanky. Los Angeles Chargers. Ooh. They do weird things too. They do some very strange things with the Chargers. I love Ladd McConkey. I think he's going to have a bounce back. Quentin Johnston, I never really liked, but it's hard to disagree with the production he's had over the last year or two. It's an upswing. He seems to be coming around. He seems to be getting better. Trey Harris was nothing but awesome potential. And we didn't see it really last year at all, but this year we sure could. If that is your top three in that room, you're in good shape. Justin Herbert can make use of that. Then you've got Brennan Thompson, who gadgety, small dude, later draft, I think, 4th or 5th or something, maybe, draft capital. I wasn't a big fan of Keandre Lambert-Smith. He was kind of the same thing, like just kind of a dude late. Darius Davis doesn't get enough credit for his ability. I like this room. I like this room a lot. I'm not sure they can withstand injury, but not a lot of teams have it that good. So, Chargers, you're at least nice. I'll give you nice. I think McConkey can get over 1,000 yards. I think Johnston, I don't know if he can, but he'll have plenty of touchdowns, and Trey Harris will do plenty of damage on his own. So, Rams. We're getting there. We're getting there. We're making a list. We're checking it twice. We're like wide receiver Santa here. You know what? We can just go. No, we can't. I was just going to throw them in top shelf because, my God, Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams are one of the best ones and twos. Even at his advanced age, Devontae Adams is still top shelf. What is he, like 29, the old bastard? He's still awesome. Even if he's on the way down, he's still way higher than most other wide receivers. Puka might be crazy and biting on people, but on the field, he's also a monster. So Nacua and Adams are fantastic. Then there's the drop-off, and this is going to hurt the room in general because Jordan Whittington is not a starter. I'll put it that way. Even if they say he's wide receiver 3, how often is he going to see the field really? Even if one of those other guys got injured, they are so deep at tight end, and I don't know if last year was necessity for Sean McVay to go with 13 personnel and lean more heavy on multiple tight end sets because he didn't have enough wide receivers. I don't know if that was a roster change for his mindset, but if it was and it wasn't intentional, he could have fixed it this offseason, and he didn't. You know, they kept Puka, they kept Devontae, they were talking about A.J. Brown there for a little while, but it never really was going anywhere. If they wanted to get a quality 3 here, they could have. They could have addressed it, and I don't think they did. Jordan Whittington is extremely limited. Xavier Smith, Kanata Mumfield. The only one they drafted was C.J. Daniels, who, if he ends up being anything for this team other than the other depth players I just mentioned, I will be shocked. That will be a huge surprise for me. To me, it's still Nacua, Adams, and then just a bunch of guys and tight ends. So they should be top shelf easily. And I'm going to pull back. I'm going to put them just one tier below in noise. Because their top 2 are so good, they're pulling the entire room up. But they can't withstand injury to either one of those guys and still produce the same number of points. I mean, they're going to have to pivot more on their tight ends, and it's just not there in that room. That room as a whole does not stack up to anybody really above them. That pains me so, too. What are we doing there? I like the Rams. They look my third favorite team. I like a lot of teams. I've lived a few places. Speaking of my favorite team, this is taking forever to get to the friggin' Eagles. Dolphins. Let's get going. Malik Washington. I've talked about the Dolphins before. Malik Washington, Jalen Tolbert, Tutu Atwell. I don't even believe that. I don't believe that's going to be the starting lineup. It might be week 1. It won't be by week 3 or 4. They picked up a trio of wide receivers this year. Caleb Douglas, who I don't really believe in, but he could be a starter. He could be their Z. Chris Bell, absolutely love. I think he's a monster, but he's coming back from injury. When he sees the field yet is still kind of to be seen. And then Kevin Coleman Jr., who the more I looked into was a sneaky good pick. I think we'll see how this ends by the year, but I think they have an awesome crop, an awesome group of guys that can go very high. They have higher ceilings than people would expect. And the only reason that there are guys in front of them right now is just they're experienced. Tutu Atwell, Jalen Tolbert, like they've been there. They've been okay. But if that's your starting lineup, my God, dude, I'm going to put, like I said, I'm not going to boost too many rookies too when we haven't seen it yet. Pat on the head. You can't go higher than that. If they didn't have a whole bunch of rookies behind them here that I think have upside, if that was just your starting lineup, I would probably consider dumpster. And I do like Malik Washington quite a bit, but I don't think that he can be your number 1, if that's even how they're going to treat him. He's got ability, but he's a guy who needs volume, and I don't know that he's even going to get that. Let's move. Let's ride. Vikings. Well, we all know Justin Jefferson, that's for sure. Jordan Addison, thought he had some legal issues. Juwan Jennings, that's right. I forgot about that. Well, if those guys are all healthy and on the field, that is a pretty dang good wide receiver core that Kyler Murray won't be able to see and J.J. McCarthy won't be able to hit. I don't feel too strong one way or the other about anybody else behind them. Ty Felton, Miles Price, who seems as just a special teams guy at this point. Dylan Bell. How do I keep finding guys I've never heard of? I know so many dudes. Dylan Bell. You related to Taco? I don't know. I think I would have to give this a pretty good rating just on the top 3. Because you could argue that just those 3 are equal to Puka and Devontae. They won't score as many points, but Where? Oh, there they are. You always get me with that. Vikings, your logo. It's not a bad logo. I've remade it a couple of times, but it's pretty quality. The Patriots. Friggin' Patriots. Well, they certainly remade their room. I don't know why I don't want to call it something else for a change. Wide receiver room for the New England Patriots is, I would say, pretty solid now. It was trash not so long ago. I think we all remember. A.J. Brown, I still think he's going to have a good year this year. After that, we'll see. Romeo Doubs doesn't get enough credit for what he is and what he can do. Kayshon Boutte, I liked him before he was good. Not just because of the name. Not entirely because of the name. But, yeah, and then you've got young dudes in the wing. Kyle Williams. I know statistically they say blah, blah, blah if they didn't already break out. But I still think he has plenty of upside. Demario Douglas. Pop Douglas is awesome. Matt Collins, you know what? I don't like him, but he does his job. That's the Patriots, you know? He's funny walking around barefoot and all jacked, but like he's a good blocker. He occasionally catches a touchdown. This is actually a really good room now. This actually turned around much more than I realized. Yeah, a lot more. I feel good about having Drake May in at least one of my leagues. I still don't think they're going back to the Super Bowl. Sorry, not sorry. This year. But, yeah, I'm going to put them up there with Noise. We are going to get a top 10 here. In fact, if I had to kick somebody out, we're going to go to the Saints. Chris Olave on the Saints. Jordan Tyson. See, Jordan Tyson is supposedly going to matter so much for this team that it's going to be hard to give them too high of a rating because he's a rookie. So it's basically Chris Olave, Devon Vele, Bryce Lance, another rookie, Barry and Brown, another rookie, I think. Mason Tipton. Yeah, this is not doing much for me. I don't even know. Jordan Tyson might be the best thing since sliced bread, but I can't put all this on him and Chris Olave. Sorry, Saints fans. We're going to have to go. Is it that bad that we give them a pat on the head? Is it that bad that we give them a pat on the head? Oh. I'm going to give you a pat on the head. And I know that's probably too low, but you've got a lot of rookies there doing a lot of rookie things, and we'll just see. That could change a lot, too, by the end of the season. Moving on. Giants. Oh, I hate you. I don't mean I hate the Giants. What I mean is I hate the Giants. No, I don't really. I just don't like them. But they're not the Cowboys. We can all agree on that. Neighbors is outstanding. How's his health? Doesn't seem good. Doesn't seem like he's going to start the season playing. Last I saw, they were flirting with the pup, which is not a good thing. So, because this is what we're doing. We're trying to get a sense of the wide receiver room here, starting the year, going through the year. So I can't just say Neighbors brings everybody up if he plays half the season. Darius Slayton, Darnell Mooney. I feel like Darius Slayton, Darnell Mooney, and Calvin Austin III are all a tier of wide receiver. They're not the same kind of guy, but they're all just like a group of just spaghetti against the wall. Malachi Fields, everyone else is higher on him than I think I am. To me, he's like defective David Boston. But we'll see. I could be wrong about that too. I'm going to give them, I think, a mid. Is that generous? I don't think much of them, to be honest. Not that they won't score, but it's going to be the CTE Express mashing his way through, and Jackson Dart mashing. You know what? When I say CTE Express, did you automatically think it was Jackson Dart, or did you think it was Cam Scadaboo? Which young man with reckless abandon did you envision in your mind? Because it could be either one. But I'm thinking that probably Jackson Dart will learn. Probably. Jets. I love Garrett Wilson. Don't love Adonai Mitchell. His potential has not been reached, and I don't think he's going to get there. But Omar Cooper Jr., I think, will. Then we've got depth with Tim Patrick, Isaiah Williams, sneaky guy, especially for special teams, and Arian Smith, who I didn't think much of. So this is not as bad as it first looks, and I'm not going to put it all on Omar Cooper Jr. to say he's going to bring them all up, or that Garrett Wilson is going to bring them all up, especially when their quarterback options are still not great. Trying not to be too rude. I know some people are cheering for it. I'm going to have to give you a pat on the head for now. And we'll see how it goes. I like some of your pieces there. I just don't believe in you. I know I make fun of the Jets, but it's only because they suck. When they get good, I'll stop making fun of them. That's how that works. Speaking of, no, not really. It's my Eagles. Hooray, go Birds. But let's be realistic. Let's be honest, Eagles fans. Now that A.J. Brown is gone, even Mekhi Lemon is not going to fill that hole. He's not just going to suddenly be A.J. Brown. But he is very good. I do think Dontavian Wicks is very good. Not Elijah Moore. Never mind him. Hollywood Brown could also contribute a lot this year. It would be quite a bit of a reach to even call these guys nice. Mekhi Lemon can definitely break out for them, but I think if we're being realistic right now, I would have to call them mid. And that's sad. It hurts me, but hey, sometimes you got to go through the fire to get to the treasure. I don't know. I'm making stuff up. Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't really believe that much in DK Metcalf. He just kind of is what he is, and he's always been that way, no matter who's throwing him the ball or what team he's on. Not bad, not great. Has great games, but not exactly someone you can count on. However, Michael Pittman Jr. could be an absolutely huge thing for this team. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers can throw the ball deep enough for him, but maybe he catches a bunch of intermediate stuff. Not a huge fan of Jeremy Bernard. I'm not going to call you Jeremy. You spell it that way, I'm going to pronounce it that way. Or Roman Wilson, dead. Ben Skowronek, nothing. Caden Wetjen, special teams. So I love Michael Pittman, and that's kind of where everything starts to fall apart after. I'm going to call you mid. Can we squeak out one more extreme? I don't know. The Niners. Ooh, Mike Evans is on the decline, but he's still good. Ricky Pearsall. I have not seen you do what you promised you would do. I don't know if he promised, but I mean, the only thing he's really promised so far is to live. The man took bullets. Get off his back. Christian Kirk. Still think DeJean Stribling could actually be something. I feel like I'm in the minority on that one. And Demarcus Robinson has been useful. Jordan Watkins, probably not so much, but I'm going to, you know what? It's a stretch to call them anything more than mid. They're held down, I think, by Pearsall and Kirk. Evans is not going to bring these guys up to a higher level when he's on the decline himself. So you are what you are. You'll be fine this year. Don't come at me. Seattle Seahawks. We're getting there. Jackson Smith-Njigba. No denying what he turned into. It's pretty awesome. Gossam? Yeah, you heard me. Cooper Kupp. I actually expect a lot more of Rashid Shaheed this year. I would be buying up shares of him if I could. And Torrey Horton. More excited about those two than Kupp. Jake Bobo's just a human. He's just a guy. He's some dude. Emmanuel Henderson Jr. making stuff up again. They're mid. They're mid. I don't know how they won a Super Bowl with a mid. No, actually, I do. Let's get to. And this, honestly, I'm sorry, guys, took so much longer than I thought it was going to. Because I do have something at the end here for this, but I'll make it quick. Oh, yeah. Godwin, Ekbuka, Jalen McMillan. You know what? Yes. Here we go. Godwin, still good. Ekbuka, for parts of last year, was amazing. Jalen McMillan has not yet reached his potential. When I talked earlier in this broadcast about packaging Xavier Legette, I forget, was it with Marvin Mims? Somebody else I liked and I knew was more valuable, and I went out and got Jalen McMillan. I couldn't believe they accepted. I expect Jalen McMillan, can't I say that right, to be really good this year. Really good. And if you're on a team that needs a wide receiver, he's not going to be the guy everyone is looking at. So you can get him. People are going to be thinking Chris Godwin, or because people are hyping him up, even being that he's older. Ekbuka, we saw it. Ted Hurst, amazing potential, rookie, but I don't know when he's going to get on the field. And then Tez Johnson and Cameron Johnston are both goodish. This is an extremely strong room, and I do think a lot of the top three especially are going to be on a lot of really good winning teams this year for fantasy. This is a really good room. Are they nice or are they top shelf? I would think most people would fight me on top shelf. But I like the depth here. I like the starters and I like the depth. It's close. They're flirting with it. I'll give them noise. I'll give them noise. Yeah, that's really good. I don't know how far the team's going to go this year, but that's a good quality room. I like what they're doing there. All right, let's get to the Titans. We've got Carnell Tate. Was a top 5 pick. Honestly, we'll see. We'll see. I think I was a little drag my feet on him compared to others, but there's no denying he's good. But I can't give him everything as a rookie. Calvin Ridley, I don't really care anymore about Calvin Ridley. I don't know that anyone does. It's what I'm probably more excited about on this team in terms of wide receivers is Wan'Dale Robinson, the tiny little dude who I probably poo-pooed when he came out of college, but I have seen some things in my life. I have seen Wan'Dale Robinson get a lot of volume and do a decent amount with it already with the Giants. And if he can get a better Cam Ward this year and better line play to help Cam Ward and a better offensive scheme and play caller, I also went out and picked up Wan'Dale Robinson. I believe in him. So I like Tate. I like Robinson a lot. Ridley's just a guy at this point. Alec Eomanor, I don't think is going to be a guy, but he's there if they need him. He can be useful. I love Jameer Dike. He's probably just special teams now, but I feel like he's really so much more. But I don't know that he'll get the opportunity to do much more. So he's one of those dudes, like if you have him in Dynasty, I'd be curious to see what team he's on or how he's being used in a couple years. But that's a fair room. I can't give them noise when their top guy is probably a rookie. But I can put them in mid. I can put them in there with a lot of other teams. And I feel like that's a huge upgrade for them and a huge upgrade for the Titans in general to be in there with, let's face it, I've got Eagles, Niners, Jaguars, Panthers, Ravens, Seahawks. That's a good group for them to be in a year after I would have probably put them way lower. I would love to see what they do this year. Hope Cam Ward can take a step forward. Washington Commanders. So I don't know what to expect from that ground game or Jaden Daniels, but the wide receiver room, Terry McLaurin is just sadly, he's kind of having a DJ Moore kind of career. He's always like better than what he really puts on the field, I think. But he's still good. He's still high level. He's their one. Luke McCaffrey, is he still really a starter? That I don't know that he ever really was. I don't believe you. I think you're lying to me, ESPN. I think this is some midsummer laziness on your depth chart. Antonio Williams probably has already passed him. He's a rookie. I don't know about him either. Treylon Burks, apparently not dead. He can make amazing one-handed catches on Monday Night Football. I didn't know that he could still do that. Apparently he can. De'Ami Brown is back. Jalen Lane, I thought could be useful in some way, but it doesn't seem like they're counting on it. They keep drafting. So, and then, of course, they expect Brandon Ayuk to show up at some point, and I don't believe that either. I'm going to give you a pat on the head. Yeah, I'm getting critical. I don't think you're all that good, to be honest. I think you're Terry McLaurin and not much else after that. And if you try and prove otherwise, I would actually love to see it. Show me. Show me the money. Now, the reason, what I was going to do here at the end, I'll still do it, is compare money-wise. Because this was a graphic that came out, I think it was March, so it's aged already. I couldn't find a better graphic or a better comparison even. It came from DraftKings through SpotTrack. And though I could go look them up individually with SpotTrack, I didn't have that kind of time, unfortunately. So some of this is aged. This is the most expensive wide receiver rooms in the NFL for this season. However, they've got number 4 here as the Eagles. I think they're including A.J. Brown in that because it was prior to him being traded. So this has aged already. But let's just take a look. Versus top shelf, I have, in my opinion, the Bengals and the Cowboys. Now, they've got Bengals at the most expensive wide receiver room in the NFL right there, followed by the Cowboys. So as far as I'm concerned, that is money well spent. That is money spent on top-tier talent, and it reflects it. After that, and I'm not sure, was DJ Moore already? I think he was with the team with Buffalo by then. They've got Buffalo at 3. They've got the Lions at 5, and then Tampa Bay at 6. And the Vikings at 7. Now, I would agree. Let's see here. We got the Vikings. We got Tampa Bay there. That all checks out. Who is the biggest discrepancy? That's really what I want to be looking at here. Well, that's interesting. They have the Chiefs, which I put low, and the Raiders were absolutely last place, and that checks out as well. I wish I could, you know what? I think right here, 23, the Green Bay Packers at $22.5 million. That is the Packers in the bottom third. And I've got them in the second tier here with Noise. So not only are we seeing some teams check out in terms of what they spent and what they've got, but also some teams are, I think, higher than, what they've got in money-wise invested into them. Actually, how can that be? The Patriots, I think, have a fantastic... Well, this was before the A.J. Brown trade for sure, but they have the Patriots already listed here like 15th. Well, that's going to be higher now. Why are the... Oh, right, because the Dolphins be dolphining. All right, I was going to say, why are the Dolphins at 14 when they've got like nobody but rookies? I get it. I get it now. Because the Dolphins are cutting up their team and shipping them off for scrap. I would say, if anything, it's maybe the Niners are spending a little too high. Oh, Steelers? Where's the Steelers? Well, it's not anything amazing, but we'd have to see somebody really stand out as overspending. And I thought it was going to be the Jets, and it's the Jets. I knew it. They're just outside the top 10, at least when this was made. $39.5 million. How can that still be? Is that for Garrett Wilson? Because they're getting a pat on the head from me for their wide receiver room. Do they include, March, April? No, this is before rookies, before the draft. Yeah, that's a little silly. I'm not sure if they got like dead money or old contracts on that, but I think that stands out probably That makes sense. Why does the team stay bad? Overspending, underperforming. Yeah, that tracks. All right. Well, that was fun. Thanks for sticking with me, those who did. If you're like me, you leave this kind of content on the background while you're doing something else. Hopefully nothing nefarious. But either way, I do appreciate you joining me and helping me walk through this wide receiver room. We'll take another look at it one more time. Shockingly, the only top shelf, Bengals and Cowboys. Hurts my heart. And then we've got a whole row of noise. Is that a top 10? I'm not counting. We got Broncos, Lions, Packers, Texans, Chargers, Rams. Oh, that's okay. So LA knows how to spend their money, maybe. The Vikings, the Patriots, and Tampa Bay Bucks. And the only dumpster team was the Raiders. That all makes sense for the most part to me. It was kind of nice to see it line up, though. That is the end of this particular episode, my friends. Thanks for joining me. If you didn't see my last actual video that was put out, I had it on Nick Foles. Maybe that's of interest to you. Maybe it's not. I thought it was pretty good. But that's a fun one to go watch. Me dissect the career of Nick Foles. I have another video coming out very soon, probably this weekend. Some of the weirdest jobs in the NFL. There's a handful of them that are just kind of head-scratching, but fun. I like the weird stuff, as you probably noticed already, in the NFL. So look forward to that. And otherwise, I will see you next week as well. 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Thursday. There is a Thursday live stream. I will be here. You will be here. We will have fun, or catch it afterwards, as always, on YouTube or Spotify as well. Thanks for listening. Say hi to your mom for me, and I will see you next week. Peace!
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boy.